Hi girl, how you doing? I've missed you so much. I'm sorry for keeping my voice very loud, but my roommate is sleeping in the other room, so I don't want to wake her up. But tell me, what's good? Oh, you're having a party, that's awesome. Yeah. Hey, what's the problem? What? You don't know how to do your makeup? Oh, come on, that's not a big deal. You don't have to worry, I can help you with that. I don't have to be there. We can just video call a little tutorial for you. Come on, yes, don't worry. Do you actually like my makeup that I'm wearing right now? It's a very simple, like, everyday look thing. Yeah, it's like very super easy, beginner friendly. I also have hooded eyes, honestly, so yeah, this will look great on you. I'm 100% sure. By the way, we also have the same colors and stuff, so yeah, don't worry, it's very easy. You know, I'm very bad at doing my makeup, remember? Yeah, it's just some very simple techniques that you have to learn, but honestly, you can learn them right now. I'm going to the bathroom and I'm gonna take my makeup off and bring all the stuff that you need here. It's like 10 products or something, and I will show you how to do it. Yeah, okay, let's go. Okay, so I have completely removed the makeup from my face. I have washed my face and now it's perfectly clear. There are no filters or anything, so that you'll be able to see exactly what I'm doing. Now, the last step we're going to do before we begin with our makeup, we will prep our skin. I'm going to use this moisturizer, which is just like a mild moisturizer that my dermatologist has recommended to me. You can use whatever you like. I know CeraVe has some very inexpensive products that you can use. Just a light moisturizer. I'm using a small amount, like a pea-sized amount. Rub it through my hands and apply it on my face. I will apply it like this. So now my face is perfectly moisturized. Now you can see I'm going to also use a little bit on the neck. You can see my problem area is a little bit now clearer, that I don't have my makeup on. I do have under eye circles. I do have a lot of hyperpigmentation spots and some redness in general that we're going to cover by using makeup. Now, the first makeup product that we will use is a concealer. I have this NARS Radiant Cream Concealer, but you don't have to use something so expensive necessarily. Just happen to use this one. Now, my first tip for you would be to pick a concealer that is actually matching your skin tone. I know many influencers recommend that you get like 1 or 2 shades lighter so that you can brighten up the space, basically. But I think that for beginners this is not going to work, especially if you do have some dark circles like I do. It's going to basically make your under eye area look more gray, and that's not what you want. I also think that if you want to make the lighter shades work, you will need to use some sort of heavy duty color corrector, which I think for a beginner it's not the first thing, because you don't really want to invest too much money into products before you have mastered like the basics, and you also don't really want to overwhelm yourself with too many techniques and products. So a medium to high coverage concealer is the best. And honestly, if you just want to use like to buy one makeup product, just get a moderate to high coverage concealer that matches your skin tone. Now, when it comes to matching your skin tone, you will probably need to go to the store for that. It's not that easy to just do it online and just order the product. Just go there, ask from someone to match you, and then don't buy the product, because like 50 to 60% of the time it won't be a perfect match, so just get matched and then go about your day. Take some selfies in natural light, some selfies at your home. Just look in the mirror, because the lights at shops like Sephora or Ulta are usually very bright and very cold, so that means that sometimes the matching is not 100% perfect, but it is a start. So you go there, you asked to be matched, they put the product on, and then you leave. You spend the whole day, you just look yourself in the mirror, take some selfies, and then you decide, is this too light, is this too dark, is it too cool, or is it too warm? For me, the best shade that I found in this concealer is the light 2.5 creme brulee, and here's how I personally apply it. I know many influencers and beauty gurus and stuff do like a triangle right here, which, I mean, you can do that if you want. And now lately the TikTok crowd does one here, one line here, and one line here. But for me, I think if you're a beginner and you just want something natural that covers you, the best thing you need to do is just apply wherever you see the hyperpigmentation. So for me, definitely on the inner corner, and then it goes, you know, it like this a little bit, and just here. I also like to apply a little bit on the upper eyelid, honestly, because I do have a hyperpigmentation there, and I'm going to blend it with a beauty sponge. I have this beauty sponge that I got from Real Techniques. It's actually really cheap, and I think it's great. You don't need to spend like a fortune for a beauty blender. As you can see, I don't really swipe, I don't do this. I try to pat it down, because this is what gives me the most coverage, I think. Actually, I don't just think it, I know it. And that's why, I'm sorry, I'm doing this because I'm looking at the mirror to be 100% certain. You can see already the difference. So what was I saying? Yes, I know that this is the best way to have the best coverage, because I have actually done an experiment. And what I did one eye with the beauty sponge, I blended, and on the other eye I blended with my fingers, and I figured out that the side with the sponge had actually better coverage. So that's another tip I have for you. Now with the other eye, I like to blend first and then apply my concealer to the other eye, because I don't want the product to dry out, because it will be harder to blend. Okay, so basically I'm still doing this. Sometimes you have to look up in order to facilitate the process and just get as much skin as possible. By the way, if you put too much concealer, you can just do this, you know, and just remove some product. Let me top it a little more. And now you can see already we have not used any foundation yet. Our under eye area is much better. I'm also going to use my concealer to spot conceal some hyperpigmentation, some marks and stuff that I have on my face. If you just want to use one product, just go from the concealer, because it's like ground zero, and then you'll build your way up. Now I'm not going to apply my concealer brush directly to my spots, because there might be, you know, some acne, some bacteria and stuff like that. So I will apply it on my hand. I have already washed my hands very well, and you should too before you start with your makeup application. So just, you know, basically swiping some concealer like so, and then I take it with my hand. I start up. I have like this thing here, And I'm just gonna blend it with my fingers because anyways we will use a foundation later, albeit a lower coverage one, not as high coverage as our concealer. Oh my god, this mark is huge. You have no idea how big of a pimple that used to be. I was shocked actually. We are going to use some more concealer again on my hand, on like not exactly on that place because it has already touched our skin. So we go here. As you can see, our skin is already looking a lot more even and clear. Okay. I think we're good. Let me just check my mirror once more. Yeah, I think we are good. By the way, do you like this handband? I think it's really cute. I recently bought it. So at this point we will be using our foundation. My foundation is Luminous Silk from Armani, but you can go for something cheaper, especially like a BB cream or something is great for beginners. I just happen to have this one because I asked this as a birthday gift from my boyfriend. The shade that I do have is the 4.5. Yeah, I don't think it has a name, it's just the 4.5. I do think it's a bit darker than my skin tone, but unfortunately in my country we don't have all the same shades. So this was the closest match I could find. One tip that I've got for you is that when you're looking for a foundation match, you should not necessarily care that much about your face shade, but about your neck if it's showing, because it's easier. You're going to put foundation in your face anyway, so it's easier just to match it with your neck because you're not gonna paint your whole neck necessarily. So this one does have a palm, thankfully. I'm to use a foundation brush to apply it. I have this one from Kat Von D Beacon Beauty. I think it's number 10. Essentially you need one that has short stubbly hair and is kind of dense here. In my opinion, you don't need to buy like a brush like this. This is like my sister's old one. I think that she had. Just get the brush set from Real Techniques. It's very cheap and it's actually some of the best makeup brushes that I've ever found. So in my opinion, just do that and get like the liquid foundation brush, which is short and dense, and you'll be fine. Okay, so I'm gonna leave this one here. Again, I'm going to use my hand. I'm going to put this here since no other product has touched this place, but here I had the concealer. I'm gonna do like 1-2 pumps for one half of my face, maybe. So I just take this finger and I just try and push it in. As you can see, this foundation is not a perfect match for me right now, but I think we can still salvage this if we blended it to our neck. Okay, we do have the face because we don't want the product to dry out. And in general, okay, you can see that I'm doing like small but very assured moves. I'm trying to push the product inside my skin and just blend it here. This foundation is not very high coverage. It has like a natural finish, not too matte, not too dewy, which is good for many different skin tones. I'm just taking the product here in my brush and applying it on my face. I'm going to look myself a bit in the mirror just to be sure. And obviously we will go down the neck a little bit. And now if you compare this side with this side, you won't see that much of a difference, but we're not done yet, so just be patient. Again, 1-2 pumps, we go to the other side of our face and we try to apply the product everywhere, even the roots of our hair, because sometimes, you know, it looks like we are one color from here and then there's a mask on the rest of our face, and we don't really want that. So again, we blend our foundation like so. I like to go on the under eye area again to give it a more even look. I think you need to, you know, when you do this area, it's better to do this. Okay. Let me see. Now we have like a minuscule amount of product which I'm still applying on my neck, so that it will be more even, and even like our ears, why not, just to look even. Okay, now I will be going to our next step, which is bronzer. Now personally, I don't really like contouring. I don't recommend it when it comes to beginners because it's very hard to make it look natural, especially off camera. Like on camera it can look great, off camera it just sometimes, you know, it looks like dirt. At the same time, I think that bronzer still defines your face a little bit, and especially your cheekbones and stuff like that, but it's just more forgiving, and also it gives you a sweeter and more natural result, especially in everyday life. For the bronzer you need one kind of long and fluffy brush, not too dense but not too loose bristles. As far as the color is concerned, I have this palette from, okay, yes, it focused now. Okay, I'm excited. I have this palette from Smashbox. I got it like for 20 euros or something. It was not that expensive. It was 50% off when I got it. So you want a bronzer that is not very shimmery as a beginner, because it's just another thing when it has shimmering glitter and stuff like that, and since we're beginners we just want something simple. I would also recommend that you go for a bronzer that is just slightly warmer than your skin tone and slightly darker than your skin tone. And this means that if you have a very cool undertone, you might not even want a warm bronzer. You might want like a neutral bronzer. A cheap one that is a drugstore one and blends very well and is very beginner friendly is the Physician's Formula. There are several shades that you can choose and pick from. Now what we're going to do, we're just going to dip our brush here, and always when you use powder products, use this move, because this move helps you prevent the fallout, which is then harder to clear up. Now, where do you want to apply your bronzer? Your bronzer goes wherever the sun naturally hits your face. In this case, this means that you are going to put it here, here, which is the hollow of your cheekbone, and here in your jawline. So basically it's like a 3 shape. 3, like okay. So I'm going to start from here. I like to do this sometimes. I'm going to go down here and maybe a little on my neck, and then I'm going to do this. Now there are very small amounts of products on my brush, and it's just gonna go a little bit in my nose and maybe on my cheekbone here, but you know, it's just minuscule amounts of product. And I'm gonna do the other side of my face. Another tip I have for beginners, you see I'm topping off the excess, is that it's better to do like only one step here on the half of the face and then one step on the other half of the face, so it's gonna be easier for you to make your face more even. Because if you do a lot of stuff, then you kind of forget and you go to the other side, and it might look good, but it might look also very different, and then it's not that easy to make them look even. So again, on the hollow of your cheek, not above, not below. We go here. I also recommend powders for beginners, especially when it has to do with like face, you know, bronzer and blush and stuff, because I think they're just more easily blendable and it's easier to manipulate them. If you want like a bit of a more of a dramatic look, you can do once more, or you can just keep the same. By the way, I kind of feel like I have more shadow on this, but I think it's because of the way I'm sitting and my lighting. Let me just check in the mirror. No, I think I might have actually more on this side. So again, tap off the excess and just, you know, put a little bit extra here. Yes, I think now they're way more even. Try to get like the roots of your hair. You don't want to have like pale tan and then again tan. Okay, I think we're good at this point. Okay, so now it's time for a blush. I'm going to use the same palette. I know there are some very good drugstore blushes like Milani Baked Brush in Luminoso. I'm going to use the same palette for a blush right here. For me, sorry for hiding behind the palette, but it just does not focus if I don't do that. Yeah, this is the blush I'm going to use. Now you want to use just a little bit of blush when you're a beginner, because personally I love like the heavily blushed look, especially on the nose that some people do. But if you're a beginner, you just want to add again some color into your face because you've lost your color because of foundation, and you just want your face to be a bit less flat. You are just going for a more natural look, and once you feel confident in your abilities, you can do something extra. That's my personal opinion. Of course, if you're feeling like you should go for it, definitely go for it. I support you wholeheartedly. Okay, so just a little bit. I don't know if you see, it's just a very small amount that I'm using. I have already topped off the excess, and we are going to smile and apply the blush here. You see there's already like some redness, like a little orange color that is showing through the foundation. here is where the blush should go. So smile. You see? That's it. You don't need more from this side. Maybe a little bit of the nose if you're into that. And we do the same on the other side. Okay, I think both sides are even. Let me check in the mirror. Yes. Okay, maybe the excess on the nose again. Now, as I said earlier, my lips are a bit crusty, so I will use this product. It's called Lip Repair from 17. It's cheap, it's good, it's easy. You can also use this before you go to sleep, and it actually works pretty well. So now it's time for the brows. Now when it comes to brows, there are many different types of products that you can use. You can use gels, you can use pomades. Personally, if you're a beginner, I recommend either an eyeshadow that matches your brow color very well, or something like this. Now this is Anastasia Beverly Hills brow wave in the shade medium brown, and in my opinion it's a great product for beginners because it is very subtle. As you can see, it's like powdery and very subtle, and if you want you can just do this and it disappears. So if you make a mistake, it's very easy to fix it. What you want to do when shaping your brow or putting makeup on your brow is you want to start from the outer corner of your nostril and just do this. This is where your brow should start. This is where you have like the angle, and this is where it ends. Okay, so you have to follow this line right here. In my opinion, when you are a beginner and you're trying to do your brows, you shouldn't try to change your shape or make them thicker. You should just try to fill in the gaps and define your brows just a little bit. Let me come closer, just a little closer. You see, I have this gap right here, and I'm going to fill it in, and then I have this gap. You see, it's like brown here, and then it's my skin below, so we're gonna cover it. And for the angle, this is it. And maybe just blend it in with your finger a little bit. It's almost like I did nothing. But you see the difference? We have this brow right here. It's a bit more defined. We don't have gaps. And then we have this, which is like a bit more empty or something. So we do this brow as well. I'm sorry I'm being off center, I'm looking that way, but it's just the camera is here and the brows are there, so I have to look here. You see this cup? I just filled in. Also here in the beginning of the brow, and again this cup, and on top like so. Okay, let me see the mirror for a second. Okay, yeah, maybe just rub it off a little bit. Okay, now this is not a necessary step. Okay, we don't have, not all of our steps are necessary. This is a clear brow gel that I have from MAC. It's called Brow Set. Personally, I'm gonna use it because my brows tend to be a little, I have kind of long hairs and sometimes they get messed up, so I just try to set them. Now the way I set them, and I personally don't really like soap brows and feather brows. If you like them, more power to you, but I just don't think they suit my face, and I think they're not the best for beginners if they are not really, you know, experienced with makeup. So what I do my brows like this. I know I'm, you know, not the best, but then I just do this movement, like whoop, like this, and they stay like this all day if I use this product. Okay, so again, we brush them up in an upward direction and then whoop, like so. Okay, now the brows might look a little too intense because I don't really have other makeup, eye makeup and stuff like that, but we're going to fix that in a minute. However, before we go in with the eye makeup, we're gonna set our face a little bit. Again, this is not a compulsory step that you have to do, but if makeup tends to rub off of you, I think it's a great and very helpful step. Now, my biggest tip personally is that you shouldn't necessarily bake your face or use any translucent powder as a beginner, and that's because translucent powder usually has a flashback. Not all of the products and not on all skins, but for me, I found that using a powder foundation like this one from MAC, it's the Studio Fix Powder Plus Foundation from MAC. I think it also gives you a bit more coverage if you need it. It modifies the face and it has no flashback at all. So that means that if you have like flash photography or like very intense and cool lights, it's not going to look weird and it's not going to reflect off of you, which is like a problem that I used to have. And it's just gonna set your makeup in place and keep it looking relatively similar all day. So what I do is that I take a fluffy brush with long bristles, not too loose, not too dense, kind of like my bronzer brush, but I'm too lazy to wash it right now, so I just use this. I put some product, I top off the excess, and I'm using under eye area, again, under eye area, and a little bit around my nose, and I have very oily skin in this area, so I always need to apply some powder here. I think that's one of my biggest tips for beginners, powder foundation to set your face. So I'm gonna leave it. Now you could definitely use, you know, some more intense bronzing or even contouring. Obviously you can add some highlighter on the nose, here, whatever, but for me, if you're a beginner, I think this is something more simple that you can do on your face. I think it's time for the eyes now. This is another step that is not entirely necessary, but if you find that you have a difficulty applying eyeshadow, I think this is gonna be a game changer for you. I have the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion right here. It is the original. You can see the product right here. You don't need to get this one. I think the last one that I used to have was the NYX one, and it was actually pretty good. I'd say you start with the NYX one, and if you like makeup and if you continue doing it, when it's done, when it's empty, maybe you can invest in this, or maybe not. It's not entirely necessary. Now it's like kind of like a concealer when it comes to the brush and the product. You just apply a little bit on it, and then I'm going to use my fingers to just blend it. Go high, go like up until the part before your eyebrow starts, and just blend it right here. Now, as you can see, I personally have semi-hooded to hooded eyes. Like, if I look at you like this, you can see only a tiny sliver of my eyelids. This is going to be a very easy, neutral, everyday look that you can also wear like when you go for drinks or even at a wedding. You can definitely use it, and it's also eye hooded friendly. You're going to use basically 2 colors and 1 little shimmer if that's your cup of tea. I'm gonna show you how to apply it, how to blend it, and how to blend it up. Honestly, I think the biggest parts when it comes are blending and cleaning up and not applying. That's a very usual mistake beginners make. They think that you should apply it perfectly, but honestly the biggest part is just learning to blend it well and then clean it up. And cleaning up the eyeshadow is actually very easy. I will show you how I do it. It's just a one-step process, very easy and effective. Now, if you want, you can use like a face palette. It has like the highlighter that we're gonna use in the inner corner. It has a couple of different options when it comes to brown. It has this darker shimmer. You can do a lot of stuff, but honestly I don't know if this one is eye safe, so if you do something like this, definitely it's your own, like you do it on your own accord. Is that the correct phrase in English? I don't know. Anyway, this is the palette I'm going to use. Again, this is not a very cheap one. I don't want to sound like I'm bragging, like, oh, I'm getting middle range products or anything. I'm not trying to flex, but I just kind of feel like if you're a beginner and you're trying to see what products you're gonna buy, you might feel a little overwhelmed if it's like, oh, this is $50 and this is like 30 or something. And I don't want you to feel like you need to spend a lot of money on makeup. For me, makeup is my hobby. It's like something that I like to spend money on, and I'm very grateful that I am able to spend some money on makeup. But you don't need to do that. There are very good eyeshadow palettes, like from Colourpop and stuff. They are great, and you don't have to spend a lot of money on them, honestly. So this is the palette I'm going to use, but we're going to only use a few different colors. So yeah, the first color that we're going to use is a color that matches my skin tone, which is basically this, my eyelid skin tone, and I think this is the best. Now for the eyes, I am going to use 2 different brushes. The first one is this one. I got this one from Sephora. It's the Sephora brand, and this is the part that I'm most interested in right now. This is the brush that I will use to apply the product, to pack the eyeshadow in on my eyelid. So I'm just taking some eyeshadow. I'm just going to tap off the excess. This is the most important part when it comes to applying eyeshadow, because there's always a lot of fallout. I'm closing my eyelid and I just applied everywhere. Okay, so we have a smooth base. And even near the eyelashes, we need to coat our eye, and we start from here and we end here. Okay, I'm getting some more, again tapping off the excess, and there we go. Okay, at this point it's basically as if I don't have anything on my face. So this is a dual-ended obviously, but as I told you, you don't need to get this. Just get the Real Technique one and use the brush that looks like this in order to apply the eyeshadow. Go for a shade that is a bit darker than my eye. Personally, I will choose this, like 3 tones darker than my actual eyelid shade. What you need to do, we have 2 areas where we want our darker color to go. Okay, we're gonna make a line like this, like as if it was eyeliner, but it's not gonna be as defined because we're gonna blend it out. But we are going to make like a small line, and then we're just gonna pack it right here where the eye ends, and then we're gonna blend it. So basically like a small thing here, and then here we're gonna focus here a lot. We use this brush, so basically just do this thing. Okay, we don't have to be too careful. It's not like an eyeliner thing, so it's much easier. You see, I'm packing it here, here, and here in this line basically, and a little bit on the inside of my eye. Now with the excess that I have right here, I'm going to use it on my lower lash line like so, and connect. You see? Okay, so already we see that our eye is a bit lifted, and we're gonna do the same thing on our other eye. Don't worry, we're gonna clean up later. So again, tapping off the excess. I have already dipped my brush in. We do this line, and now we're just using the product and we're trying to apply it. I kind of think that I didn't use that much, so I'm gonna add a little more. Yes, that's better. Okay, maybe that's too much, we'll see. Again, I did the line, and then okay, now with the rest we do the under eyelid. Okay, second makeup brush. This one is from the Real Techniques. It's called Deluxe Crease Brush. I think it's the best product. Oh look, these are so uneven. It's okay, we're gonna fix them. I think it's the best brush ever when it comes to blending your eyelid eyeshadow. Yes, so basically you just do some circular movements like so. We're obviously going to add a lot more into this. So again, circular movement back and forth like so. I think this one is better, but it just needs some cleanup. You see already, it is obvious that I'm wearing makeup on right now. Topping off the excess. And now, you know, I don't need the middle one, I don't need the other brush. I'm just applying the shadow with this brush and then basically blending it at the same time. I can see there's like a line here. We don't want to have like very geometrical lines and stuff. We don't want to know exactly where it starts and how it ends, you know. I am going to use some shimmer in the inner eye corner. I will go for like a neutral sparkly eyeshadow. I don't want any glitter, so just take this, the one that I used earlier, tap off the excess and close the eye. Now we do the inner corner a bit above, a bit below. Don't forget above and below, and it's just a very subtle sparkle that opens up the eye, and again in the inner corner we go. I think we're good. Our next step is definitely our mascara. I don't know if you can see them. I got kind of long lashes, but they go downwards. So for me, I have to do a step usually to make them a bit more defined. I use this eyelash curler that my friend bought me. And this eyelash curler is basically used in order to lift up your lashes. What you're going to do is basically try and put all of your eyelashes, but not your eyelid skin, right here, close and lift very carefully. Okay, just for a few seconds. And then we do the same with the other eye. If you're not feeling confident doing it, you don't have to do it. I'm just doing it to show you how it's done. I take this. I like to warm it up a little bit within my hands. The trick is to start from the roots and wiggle like zigzag movements. Roots, wiggle, roots, wiggle, roots, wiggle. I'm not even moving my hand actually. I'm just wiggling my head basically. The inner eyelids, like so. Now we're going to go without dipping our wand at the mascara and just do the lower lash line. And again, the roots are very important. Okay, so we dip our wand once more, and now we reverse the wand. We don't do this, we do this. Okay. I know it's kind of weird that I'm moving my head, but it kind of works. Okay. Close. We'll go from the roots to the ends with this particular movements. I am completely confident that if I am able to do this, you can do it as well, because for the longest time I was very bad at doing this, and honestly when it comes to like painting and stuff. Now let's do the lower lash line again with the same amount of product that we have on our hand. We don't need anything more. There we go. Now we're going to wait for it to dry out. I want to show you how to clean up your eye makeup. Basically, I don't have too much to clean up because it's just two simple, easy colors. Oh my god. Okay, don't worry, we're gonna fix this later. But we do have some fallout right here. So basically what you need to have in mind, we have this eye and we have an imaginary line that goes up to here. So whatever is below the imaginary line, we are going to clean it off. And the same thing with this eye. This is the imaginary line. Whatever is below, we're gonna clean it off. So I'm gonna take my concealer and just place like 1, 2, 3 dots, 3 tiny dots right below this line. I will take my foundation brush and clean it up. This works even if we have a lot of more product to clean up, basically. Now for the lip, I think the best thing for a beginner is a lip gloss, because it's way more forgiving than a matte lipstick, or liquid lipsticks and stuff like that. You don't need like a lip liner or anything. Just take something universal and very, very glossy like this one. It's also hydrating, so it does not emphasize cracked, dry lips. You take this. I have got the Fenty Beauty Universal, I think it's called, Gloss Bomb. Apply it on lip. Maybe a second coat. Okay, I'm going to use the All Nighter Setting Spray by Urban Decay. For me, this is the best of the best, honestly. So if you have the budget, definitely go for it. it will make your makeup last all day long, besides the lips, which will stop being so visible after like an hour or so. I just gotta shake the bottle a little bit. I have seen from making tutorials that this thing, like trying to fan the face and make it dry earlier, is actually very effective. Okay, so I brought this ear pad and it has a little bit of water. I ran the faucet, I ran it under the faucet, and basically what we're gonna do, we're gonna close our eyes and go very, very carefully wherever our smudged mascara is, and try to take it off. I think this eye could use some help as well. Okay, so I'm taking off my headband and I'm going to brush my hair a little bit. This is the finished look. Should I do my hair like this? So, what do you think? I hope you found it easy to follow, interesting, and relaxing.